All right, cyber traders, welcome on back. A little early edition of our afternoon meeting here this Friday, November 25th, to wrap things up for this week, of course, because the market is closing in just about an hour. Great to see all of us inside the live trading room. Brian, Elizabeth, we had Mike just before, Chuck, who I know has been trading Sava, and a couple of us otherwise just joining us here later, Michael, Mike, Ron as well, and perhaps all of us just joining us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. So first and foremost, folks, I got to get it out the way really quick. We are continuing our Black Friday sales all throughout the weekend into Tuesday, actually. But if you missed out on Fausto's morning meeting, I just want to show this here very briefly. This is the biggest time of the year for students, gold, platinum, and diamond students, to take advantage of one-on-one coaching. Along with that, just memberships to our live trading room. But this is at 50% off. These prices will expire going into Tuesday. One thing in particular, I mentioned it from the morning for at least all of us inside the live trading room, something that we're doing this year that's much different because most of us now at this point have Bookmap. We're offering Bookmap specific coaching, but it's only open to 8 available students. 6 of them have already been taken. So I mentioned that earlier in the trading room. But with that, though, it's not just the one-on-one coaching you're getting with this pack, but the special part about this is that you're getting 2 exclusive group coaching workshops, classes. I'm going to call them phase 3 in terms of just live trading using Bookmap. So 6 of the 8 slots have already been filled here. If you're interested, just message myself or your education advisor. But again, it's not just limited to the coaching. We're offering memberships to our live trading room on a quarterly, monthly, and a yearly basis. All right. But with that, though, hey, market's been pretty slow today, right? So not a whole lot to really write home about. Market's been really flat. A couple of little runners here and there, though. So LIDR, we'll start with this on the screen. Hell, it's up over 42% right now. It honestly doesn't look much better than what you're seeing here. But just to be straight with you folks, this whole day, we've seen low volume stocks, make these like wacky pumps. This is not the day to try and, gamble. This isn't the type of data, just try and trade low volume stocks because there's nothing else out there. So here, this stock had a pop at first, but after this initial spike, the volume really fell apart. Granted, it moved up, so that's a nice little squeeze, but truth be told, folks, our whole MO here is to follow the big money. If there's not as much big money to initially follow on a stock, then we're not going to initially follow it. But with that, we ended up seeing a lot more volume pour into this trade as it broke highs off of 115, 116, and now up towards 122. So yeah, this LIDR trade, hopefully this continues to make a strong push, and hopefully we continue to see more and more volume getting traded on this year. All right, but like I'd said, today's been kind of a low volume type of day. EUDA trading over 10.5 million right now, but I mean, hey, you don't want to be on the wrong side of this here, right? Ended up making a big squeeze up early this morning. We called out the stock when it got halted, and when it reopened up, moved up a little bit more. But look at the high of the day. That was a bad whistle. But $5 right here. $5, major whole number resistance level. And at that point, it ended up just completely falling apart. Not even a false breakout above 5. It just held it perfect, and that was it. So, yeah, you don't want to get stuck on the wrong side of this trade here, folks. You could say that on so many different stocks today. All right. What we'll do is go from top to bottom now. I mean, hey, you could say that on JCSE here. Folks, if you were in this trade from this morning, you definitely should not be in right now. We were talking about that from the audio commentary myself and Rich did for you. In fact, on this stock, I was looking for a pullback down to 98 cents, 96 cents. 98 was my entry, but it popped up at first. Nice little bounce at the time, and I was up 7 cents on it. For a cheap stock like that, it's actually a pretty good win, but I wanted more, and I didn't get it, and it ended up coming back down, and I got stopped out for a dinky -1. But the reason I bring this up is you don't want to get stuck holding, right? Granted, there wasn't a whole lot today that ended up making a great move throughout the, morning. But otherwise, though, the more time you spend watching this and worrying about another drop or if it's going to move back up, you just waste your time. And you could be spending it a lot better just scanning and looking for other opportunities, right? So this was like a really good trade from us today, even taking the dinky -1, just not wasting our time on it. All right, what else we got here at this point, folks? DBGI. This is one from Wednesday this past week that did pretty well. Ended up having a nice little pop this morning, but fell off, and ended up having a nice comeback at least right now. So it's been slowly pushing up. Nice trend from the lows here. Actually looks similar to MANU in this rugged trend up, steady off the lows, but rugged minute by minute. DBGI, I'll put on our list at this point right now, similar to the LIDR, just showing some strength heading into the afternoon. The order book, I'm not extremely a fan of, if we're being honest. I know I was chatting with a few of us on the side saying, listen, low volume is untradeable. The stock's trading 2.9 million shares today total, but just watch the spread. If this becomes pretty big, if it's a fluctuating big spread, then I wouldn't want newly enrolled students or inexperienced day traders to be following this exact stock. But that's how we evaluate liquidity and volume altogether. Probably call that more of a level 3 stock in terms of how we categorize it. CGTX here, pop and drop. MANU. Let's talk about this. MANU ended up having a really nice push today. It was, steady off the lows. Like I said before in the other one, it was a rugged trade minute by minute, but it ended up having a nice break above resistance off of 2150. And really, once it broke that point, it ended up leading to a much better long. I wish I could say I jumped in from 2150, but I was fooled by it. I just thought for as slow as it took for a $21 stock to make this squeeze, I just didn't think it was going to be as much worth it, and I was wrong. Ended up leading to a nice continued move up. I ended up shorting this, though, which was a pretty nice move, roughly off of 2265. So it ended up leading to a nice move from there. Over time, built the top and eventually came back down as it rebroke this trend line I put up. But yeah, it was as good of a short as it could have been a long from the open. The MANU trade now at this point, perhaps it could lead to another drop-off later on today. It's trading a lot of volume per minute, about 80,000, 81,000 shares a minute. Now the order book has gotten a little bit more liquid. Earlier in the morning here, it was pretty thin. So this is actually a good stock right now to try and put on our list again. MANU. See if it breaks back below the VWAP. And if it does, that could lead to the next drop off. All right, what else we got? Got a bunch of cheapies here, so I try and skip over the stocks that are like below $1. You let me know if there's anything looking really good from that side, but just going to try and skim through the rest, see what else we got. ENSC, pump and dump, right? We've seen that today, and it's basically the lesson for the day. You don't want to get stuck hoping and holding. YPF, interesting. Nice squeeze up going into the late morning here, roughly, prior to 11:30, ended up breaking new highs and made a strong run. And, for the most part, still holding there. Order book checks out pretty nicely. I like that part. Looks like this stock is approaching highs back from earlier this month. Definitely not all-time highs, that's for sure. Just trying to make a bit of a recovery, really beginning from like July time, is seemingly, in hindsight, has been a great swing trade. But that's easy to say just looking at looking at this. But yeah, as far as a day trade, it's still near the highs. I don't mind slipping this on the back end of our list, in hopes of this being a higher low and a breakup higher here. So YPF, why not? All right, what else we got to wrap up the gainer side here? Clove maybe at the highs, but this is too liquid. This is a little too liquid, little too filled in for me. All right, so let's hop over to the loser side right now, folks. Market's making a lower high here and beginning to pull back slightly. So, I don't know if there's any name brand stocks that are down that much today. I saw BILI down big earlier today. We'll talk about that in a moment. LTHM down over 10%. Ended up making a nice drop off early this morning when the market opened up and continued. But for right now, pretty flat here. So I'll pass on this one. KC, LAC. This is another, I think, lithium stock. This one dropped off nicely with the LTHM. And for the most part, this seems to be closer to the lows, at least compared to that other one, LTHM. Compare little apples to oranges here. I don't know. maybe LAC trying to squeeze up now at this time. I don't have a great need to put either on our list now at this point, folks. We got like 50 minutes to go here, right? Market closing at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't even want to talk too long and waste your time here. We still have a lot of, trading to do before the close. Billy, this could be a better short. This is holding under 1235, which was a pretty big level earlier today. I was calling that out with my student Ray on a coaching call. As far as a potential short, if there's any here from this loser side, I'll slip Billy on the main list. Pretty low risk, good volume on the book at least. JD down a sneaky 5% today as well. A lot of these Chinese stocks down big. So JD dropped off earlier this morning, a little more expensive, mind you. And the stock does a lot of gaps overnight. You could tell just looking at the daily here. You don't often see these types of gaps for a stock trading about like 10 million shares on average a day. So with saying that, it could be a good sideless stock, but given the price here, like I'd said on a couple of the others, no real need to put this on our main list right now. All right, folks, let me hear from you folks, see what we got left just before we wrap up, see if there's any other stocks out there looking good. From the trading room, I don't have anything just yet. Chuck asking, do you see today as a Friday hold into the close day? That's a very good question. Every question is a good question, but I know why Chuck's asking this question, because his Saba has been doing pretty nicely today. He's been in it, low volume, big spread. Not going to put this on the main list. As far as answering Chuck's question, though, it all depends on direction and just seeing what happens out there on the order book. So Saba, in terms of direction, this is as good of a type of stock that you could hold into the close at this point, Chuck. But I wouldn't feel as trustworthy doing that when the order book is so blank. One little false move and this thing can tank 20, 30 cents. So, if it was a more liquid stock, then I would be very interested in looking for that there. Alex looking at Shopify. Moving right now, he says, a little inch up right now. Good sideless stock. Saba's up more percentage-wise if we're looking for the hold into the close. I wouldn't say it just here yet on Shopify, albeit Shop's currently at high of the day, regular session highs. Otherwise, though, there's nothing really too particular that I'm like looking at as a hold into the close stock here. Maybe LIDR if this can continue to show higher lows, because that is a really good order book. Big resistance ahead at 130 on this, if anything. All right, last one here. I got it from Benzinga Pro, CGTX. Just wanted to look at it briefly. It doesn't. It's moving up a little bit here from 220 up to 237. Order book isn't like the most liquid. There is about 12,000 shares on the bid currently sitting at the VWAP. It's up big percentage-wise. All right, I'll put this on our list here at the bottom. Kind of sold myself into the CGTX here, but I'll say this like I said on Saba and the others too. I mean, although there is a pretty good iceberg order on the bid at 232, just be careful if that gets pulled. If that gets filled and broken through on the way down, then this could be a total false squeeze up here. So just be careful. All right, folks, about 45 minutes to go. No longer talking here from this point. You're going to have Rich on the mic coming up at 12:30. Rich will be on at 12:30 Eastern, folks. So, he'll see what's moving for you folks going into the end of the day. But again, the last call in terms of just seeing this as far as our meetings, the sale actually runs until Tuesday. But Black Friday offerings just launched over the last day or so. 50% off or more on coaching and Bookmap coaching as well. Again, for the Bookmap coaching, 6 out of the 8 slots have been filled so far. If you were even remotely thinking about it, please message me or your education advisor. They'll be able to give you more details on it. But otherwise, though, that's just for the trading room, for the coaching on top. And I think that we'll also do something else coming up for Monday. All right, folks. But otherwise, I look forward to the next 45 or so minutes. I'll be in the chat board. All right. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.